Ship, 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 ship. Come on. Come on. I almost fell on my face. And see these last little two? They got the purple things. Those are new. Oh yes, good girl. Time for the apple cider vinegar, molasses, and salt. They like it, but it makes them pucker. So they're getting apples, they're getting really good grass, and they have the regular mineral. And then the salt I use is also got minerals in it. So hopefully they will be highly resistant to winter maladies. The best defense is good nutrition for animals and humans. And I have two new girls here with the purple tags, the purple twins. They're looking pretty good. They were scrawny when they got here. They're really filling out. And of course we have the geeses. All in all, pretty good day. For a Friday. Hey, it's Mark Shepherd, Healing Pastures, and this week we're gonna take another step in exploring the keys to your cage. The keys to our cage, the keys to our cages, however you want to say it. The first week we talked about the master key, which is using death, your death as an advisor, like you're gonna die. So like that puts everything in perspective. So you might want to start working on the things you want to do with your life, right? The second key is your body. Take care of your body. Put good food in your body, move your body. I'm doing a lot of research on the carnivore diet or a ketogenic diet. Both of those seem to work for a lot of people. And I personally feel much better when I don't eat vegetables or carbs. I do get a little. I do eat an apple in the morning with my yogurt, but I do dairy, I do eggs, I do meat, and I have cheat days, so that works pretty well. And I've never felt better in my life, and I used to have pretty much a chronic fatigue thing going on back in my 20s and 30s. So last week we talked about spirituality and getting out of the cage of old religious orthodox paradigms and just embracing the higher power thing, kind of like the 12-step programs. You know, it's like, you don't have to define it. There's a higher power. Something put us here. You know, you don't have to argue how many angels dance on the head of a pin, that kind of stuff. That's baloney. There's a lot of nonsense in religions. I'm sorry. Stuff that normal people kind of like, I don't believe that. A lot of religions are filled with the flat earther mentality. They just believe stuff that they've always believed and they don't question it. And that's great, but not what we're talking about this week. This week we're talking about the other religion, money. So stick around. If you haven't been here before, please subscribe. Please leave a comment below at the end. There's a lot going on. We're going to have some music. I'm going to talk about what's happening in the world of money because you need to know. Because it's just kind of, I don't know if you remember when the internet was new and a lot of people were kind of late to get on board with it. What's email? What is this internet thing? Why do I have to learn this, right? Well, the same is true for money. So we'll get into that. And we had our first snow this week, so we'll have some good footage of snow. I just moved the girl sheep, the ewes, so I'm still mowing. I'm still taking care of my sheep, and I'm really liking it. And it's snowing again. Hey, it's Mark Shepherd, Healing Pastures. It's been a week of weather. Like, we had a really nice fall, a little bit dry, which I'm not complaining about at all because I had plenty of wet solar sites that were nice and dry and the snails disappeared. So yeah, but it seems like the weather kind of settles in for a while and then we just get more and more of the same thing. So last Sunday it was snowing. This Sunday it's snowing as well. But this week I want to talk about cage number 4. Cage number 4 is money. And before you get all like freaked out or bored by it or whatever it is you feel around money, I want to talk about money just briefly as energy. In fact, everything about money is energy. It's how we store our work, how we store the value that we create with our time and effort. And right now, the money is sick. Ever since 1971, when Richard Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard, the value of the US dollar has basically gone down and down and down and down. I remember, I think it was in the early 70s, my folks bought a Volvo station wagon, which was a high quality car even then, an expensive car even then. It was $5,000. What does a car cost today? A Volvo station wagon will run you like $80,000. Like, the money is becoming worth less and less and less. But wages and income have not gone up the same way. So most people, unless you own assets, unless like you bought your house in 1965 like my parents did, and then they sold that house. I think they bought it for $25,000 and they sold it for $160,000 and they used that money to build this. And I don't know what this is worth today, but the whole idea back in those days was, a house had utility value. It wasn't a place to store your money so that you would hopefully keep up with inflation. So people that own assets or property have done okay. The whole baby boomer generation has done pretty well. But people in their 20s and 30s today, they don't have the same opportunities because the money is worth less and less and less. And at the same time, the debt has increased so exponentially, we can't even comprehend it. I read something yesterday that 1 million seconds is 11 days. But 1 trillion seconds is like 37,000 years. It was just something that blew my mind. Like, what? So, and if I got the numbers wrong, don't bust me too much. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I don't have my facts and figures here. Yeah, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a big concept guy. And the big concept right now is that our money sucks. Fiat money that the government just declares, oh, this is worth $1. It's paper. It's imaginary. And in the 2007-2008 financial crisis, I was not paying attention to the financial markets at all. I had my best year ever. I was doing neuro-linguistic trainings, hypnosis trainings. I was a certified trainer, so I could train the trainers. And like 1 week, I made 30 grand in 1 week. And then 5 months later, 6 months later, I was homeless because I wasn't paying attention to the big picture. to the monetary world, and I vowed that that would never happen to me again. I vowed I would not be caught off guard. And so we muddled through that 2008 thing, and the government printed a bunch of money, bailed out a bunch of big companies. And then in COVID, a lot of money was printed as well. And what that has done is it has sparked this inflation thing, right? And it's like Weimar Germany before Hitler rose to power. The reason Hitler was able to rise to power is because the money was broken. And right now, our money is broken. And this is not to be a downer, because we have a solution. And the solution is Bitcoin. And some of you are like, oh, Bitcoin, don't talk to me about Bitcoin. I hate hearing about Bitcoin. Don't be that uncle that's always talking about Bitcoin, right? Well, I want to be the uncle that's saying to you, hey, you need to wake up. The money is a cage. And we need to get out of our cages. And Bitcoin is doing something that no money has ever done. Even gold, which has served humanity well for thousands of years, gold has lots of problems in that it's heavy, it's hard to carry around, and you can't use it at the grocery store, right? You can't send it to a business acquaintance or a relative on the other side of the world. Try going through airport security with a bar of gold. Like, not going to happen, right? So in 2008 or 2009, Bitcoin was invented by a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, which is not his real name. And then he created this thing called Bitcoin, which is digital money, digital scarce money. There's only going to be 21 million of them, but they are infinitely divisible to the right of the decimal point. So one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis. The thing is, I'm not going to get deep into it today. I just need you to know the money is a cage, and the only way out of the cage is for you to wake up and start learning about it from people who know what they're talking about. I'm going to link a bunch of really good resources below this video. Trustworthy people that can teach you, right? I'm going to recommend some books. If you want to get out of your monetary cage, you might want to start learning about Bitcoin. That's all I'm going to say this week. In 2017, I had a moment where I realized I need to master money. I need to learn about money. I had hired my son and his video crew to videotape a concert I did, which was the last concert of the Rogue Mystics. It was also the first concert of the Rogue Mystics. Just the people that I'd been making music with in Albany, New York for several years. And you can find that on my Mark Shepard Songs channel. He was too busy. He didn't have time to edit it. And so I was like, I gotta pay him to edit it. He's not gonna edit it just because I'm his dad. And so I started trying to learn about money seriously, because I had always kind of avoided money up to that point because it made me uncomfortable, and because I'm not that good at math, and it always felt like somebody else always had the money and I never had the money. And I've also spent so much money over my lifetime trying to record my songs and trying to get my songs out into the world that I never bought a house. Well, there's a whole other story about when I bought 4 houses for nothing down at the top of the 1980s real estate bubble, but that's a story for another day. The bottom line, the crucial key point to this key, is that there is a solution to our monetary misery at this point. It's called Bitcoin, and you need to learn about it. It is scarce money. It is money. They can never make more than 21 million of them. And the last Bitcoin will be mined in, I think, 2145 or something like that. So every 4 years, the number of Bitcoin that miners get as a reward for solving complex math problems gets cut in half. It's called the halving. And pretty much after the halving, the price of Bitcoin goes up. It doesn't go up steadily. It goes up like, and then it goes sideways or down, then it goes up. So it's a long-term plan. It's a long-term thinking. And when I first got into Bitcoin in 2017, it was $700. And I was like, oh man, I got to start getting some of this. And then it was $1,400. And I'm like, I missed it. But I started dollar cost averaging, just buying a little bit whenever I could afford, sometimes just $10 worth. And Bitcoin is now trading around $100,000. So we expect it to 10x in the next 5 years. So one Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million, but you don't have to buy a whole one. You can buy just a little smidgen of one. What do you get in your bank account? Do you have a savings? Most people don't even have any savings anymore, because by the time you get a tiny little bit of interest, then you have to pay tax on that. It's just, yeah. So the money's broken, people, but there is a solution. The other solution for me, which brings me to the farming, is like sheep and goats and cows. That used to be money. Like, people used to buy stuff with goats and cows, like with livestock. So for me, I vowed to never be caught by surprise. So if we have a financial collapse, I have food. That's one of the things that I get out of all this farming lunacy, right? You got to see the snow. It's really, really coming down now. We are in a monetary reset right now. Wall Street has discovered that by putting money into Bitcoin, it's like an actual savings account, and Bitcoin has gone up year over year, 50% every year. It doesn't go up linearly. It doesn't go up and stay up. It goes up, comes back down, goes sideways, then goes up, then comes back down, then goes sideways. But if you have a long-term mindset, which is the main thing I learned when I studied money, is if you have a long-term mindset and you don't pay attention to the daily vicissitudes of the financial markets, or of your life for that matter, and you keep that long-term vision in mind, you can actually do very, very well, even in these crazy turbulent times. So that's my message today. Start learning about the money. Learn about Bitcoin, check out the links below, because it matters. Your security, your well-being, your livelihood matters. We need a place where we can store our time and energy, because the US dollar and other fiat currencies all over the world, it's like putting your energy, your time, your value, your hard work into a melting ice cube. And unless you have great investments, well, the S&P 500 is what most people invest in. And essentially, it's barely keeping up. When you do all the math between taxes, inflation, devaluation of the dollar, the S&P 500 is barely keeping even. Even real estate is barely keeping even. But Bitcoin is going up 50% every year. Now, it may not always go up 50%, but so far it has for the last 15 years. It's a new asset class, and it will become the world's reserve currency. It's just a matter of time. So the reality is, back in 2017, I thought I was too late. I was early. You are now still early, but you need to start learning about it. And I say that because I care about you, and not because I'm trying to get anything from you. I just think you need to fucking know. You need to learn about it and not just dismiss it as internet money. And there's so many things that people say about it that are not true. So you need to learn from the people who know what they're talking about, not just anybody flapping their gums on CNN or any of these financial shows, all right? So that's it. I won't say any more about it because it's getting cold out here. It's one of the reasons I do these outside, is so I don't talk too long. So stay warm, stay calm, and start learning about money, because it is a cage you are in. And unless you want to stay in that cage or get crushed by the coming shift in the economic world, you need to wake up. You need to pay attention. You need to learn about it. I know you're too busy. I know you're too busy, and I know you don't have any interest. But you need to wake up, because it affects you. It affects all of us, all right? I love you. Sending out good thoughts, prayers, hope, the intention of success, the intention of prosperity, so that you can live a life where you are thriving. And remember to support a local regenerative farmer. Do some work, find a farmer, okay? But someone who's doing it intelligently. And we'll talk more about the different cages that we are surrounded by in the coming weeks. All right, peace, love, grooviness. Amen. Thanks for hanging in so far. I got a song for you. here it is, this too shall pass, because I talk about the money in it, and it's something I recorded this time of year, so there's some good geese footage. I'll talk to you afterwards. Thanks.
The dandelion seed takes to the wind without a clue to its end. The blades of grass bow low to the early snow as they teach us how to bend. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. All my life I was told to do as I was told. All my life they said, to earn your daily bread, we'll give you paper dollars for your gold. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. All my life I was told I was too young, I was too old. What they should have said is that we're too soon dead, so you might as well be bold. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. All my life I've been alone and never felt like I was home. All my life they said, it's all in your head, but I feel it in my bones. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. without a clue to its end. The blades of grass bow low to the early snow as they teach us how to bend. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
All right, thanks for listening to the song. Back into the snow, back out to the garage. One of the exciting things is that this year I actually have fall stockpile. I have grass. I got a ton of grass. And even though it's snowing, the grass is still growing and the sheep are eating it. So anyway, have a great week. Peace. Love, grieviness. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please leave a comment below. Please give it a thumbs up. That stuff helps a lot. I think I just got my 900th subscriber this week, so I really appreciate you folks out there. Stay warm, stay hopeful, stay positive. Start learning about the money. Really, check it out. I got links below. All right, peace, love, grieviness, over and out. Boom. Just want to point out, everyone else is feeding hay right now. But a little actual rotational grazing, and we have something called stockpile. Will we feed hay? Absolutely. If I had hay here now, I'd roll it out and they'd have a dry place to lie down. And we'd be adding carbon to the soil to build this very thin veneer of topsoil into something down the road that would be awesome and may last through a drought better.